Hey, welcome to Casual Yelling. We got something special for you because of the move from Substack to Patreon. Every episode of I Just Want to Talk to Friends was wiped from the server. However, I have everything saved, so they're going to be right here on Patreon for free. I'm going to upload some of the old episodes that I really enjoyed, and that's about it. You're going to hear me say, I just want to talk to friends, but just keep in mind this is a rebrand, so it's under Casual Yelling. All of these episodes have previously been put up on Substack under the I Just Want to Talk to Friends banner, so if you were a fan of that and had already listened to these episodes, you're going to hear the same stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep all the stuff I like on the new website. That's it. Thank you for subscribing or not. I don't know what you do. Rate and review us on iTunes. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome to I Just Want to Talk to Friends, a self-indulgent experience as I go through existential dread. I'm Matt Elfring, and with me this week is somebody who I performed with, and one of my friends from the Chicago days. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Shenk, thank you for coming on the show, sir.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Thank you very much. It's been a long time coming. Good time being here, and yeah, you were key. We were all performers.
Yes,
we were all performers, but you were definitely part of the ragtag gang.
Yeah, you. For those who aren't aware, Josh was the singer of a band in Chicago for it's still, you guys still kind of perform, but Cealed Kasket. Josh, I've tried to explain Cealed Kasket so many times to people. I would like you to explain it to see if we're on the same page before I say it.
Yeah, so I think that was a big mistake of the band because we couldn't really sell it. You couldn't really explain it. It was a hard sell. But what we would do is create an environment where music and theater really could come together.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't know that it was a music theater experience. I think people thought it was just a heavy metal show that they were going to see. But we were doing things that involved shrimp and medieval knights and Beast. It was a big stage show. So getting back to what you're saying, try to explain it. It's very hard. It's the medieval times of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right. So when people would come into the show, they would receive a crown that would represent the color of the team or the knight that they would be cheering for the rest of the evening. And it was fun, man. I think that it was a good experience. I really wish one time I'd like to be in the audience and see what that was like.
I was that guy in the audience before we started hanging out and before I kind of became a part of Cealed Kasket in general, because you guys, I remember this is the MySpace days we're talking about, and
yeah.
Cealed Kasket friended me on MySpace. I'm like, oh, these guys look like Cradle of Filth. Let's see what they're about. And the first song I heard was
so wait, that's how it happened. We friended you on MySpace.
Yes.
That was the connection to it. I love this story. Okay, this is great. So MySpace, I think you got to fill in the group because I don't think anyone knows MySpace, right? Do people know what MySpace is?
It's pre-Facebook social media, but post-Friendster. That's it.
But it was really good for musicians. At least we thought it was, because you could just request people all day, follow this band, and you could customize your page and. Yeah, you can watch your views, which is very addictive.
Yes.
MySpace was good for musicians. I don't know if it still exists at all, but that was where we found you, huh?
Yeah, you found, and the first song I heard, because you can have your songs listed in your MySpace, I believe, or links out. And I heard Horse, which is a song just about riding a horse.
yeah. That's what it was about. And it was a great song. It was probably one of our most fun songs, right? We could you could dance to it. There was a dance. It got kind of funky, got kind of soulful at the end.
Yeah.
So that was it. Yeah, MySpace was. I would sit. Oh man, this is taking me back, dude. I would sit in the basement of this bar that I used to work at, and I would take in, the receivables. All the inventory, is stocking the place during the day, all the deliveries during the day, getting the place ready for the night. But during the day, I would go on that computer and I would access MySpace and I would be like, So that was something, that was how we were building our, or at least trying to build our fan base out there.
Yeah. And I saw you guys perform the first time at Autos in DeKalb, which was kind of like the mainstay for Cealed Kasket.
Yes, I love this.
And yeah, the first, so like when you walk into the show, someone is handing out crowns. It's usually the Gold Knight or the Brown Knight Jormungand. And they were just Burger King crowns spray painted, which I loved. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And I was
very, what was it, DIY, right? There was nobody was sponsoring us. Nobody was helping us. The Burger King crowns were coming from Burger King. You know, we would go to Burger King and we would have to see how many crowns we can get. And we would come up with a story that we were like teachers. We were elementary school teachers, kindergarten teachers, and we were putting on a show for the kids. Because when you say kids are involved, you know, how can you say no?
Yeah.
And they would supply us with either like individual strips or sometimes boxes that you would purchase from them. So yeah, we had to deal with the band was in with Burger King. I don't think Burger King knew officially, but yeah, we were kind of hooked in with BK. We would spray paint all the crowns, and so I don't live in Chicago anymore. You don't live in Chicago anymore, do you?
No, not in Chicago. No.
At that time in Chicago, you couldn't buy spray paint in the city. I don't know if you still can or not.
Yeah.
But spray paint was not allowed. You know, you couldn't buy it, and so we'd have to go to like Evanston, make a special trip out to Evanston. It was such a mission, right? It was a big deal to go get all this stuff. We go out to Evanston, get the spray paint, bring it back, spray it up, like make our lungs terrible. We couldn't breathe for a day afterwards. It was really gross. We would spray paint indoors. We had no idea what we were doing.
You guys spray painted in the practice space on the wall, at least like that. From what I remember, like when going to practice, like seeing that whole wall was just like, you could see the outline of the crowns and then just black or brown, red, yellow. Yeah.
We were in a practice space in Chicago, and instead of practicing, we were spray painting Burger King crowns. So we would tack crowns on the wall, right? And there was no ventilation in this. There was no ventilation in this room.
No windows in this room. It was just closed.
It was the stupidest idea ever. We would spray paint it, and you're right. When you take them all down, then you have this weird leftover outline of these thousands of crowns all over the walls. So yeah, that was the pre. In addition to the practice, the getting ready for the show, we would have to pre-show by making these crowns. Holy cow!
And then yes, like when I was given a gold crown at this auto show, which maybe at that point I was gold teen for life. But I remember when you guys came on stage, you were the singer Mortal Death. Just I didn't know what to make of you. The guitarist was a wizard. The bassist was a ghost, and the drummer was a NASCAR enthusiast. Can you explain your character of Mortal Death?
Yeah, so that was you got the band nailed. Everybody had a really solid defining role, except for Mortal Death. So let's talk about that, because I think that's an important thing to go through with this band. Not only, you know, do you have a 500-plus-year-old wizard, right? He was like, we could call the wizard Sarsicus the originator of the band.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of the foundation. And also probably, you know, in reality, the most talented guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank God for Sarsicus, Ron Weary, great guitar player, amazing dude. Yeah, we lucked out with him. But he's this amazing wizard, and he would wear this really cheesy wizard costume, like the one that you would get at any costume shop, like a Halloween store. It evolved better over time, but it started off very basic, very dirty.
And it smelled very bad.
Smelled horrible.
So
they all smelled horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. Again, we didn't know what we were doing. So he was the starting point. And then we had a drummer, of course. You know, you need a drummer. So The drummer was, how'd you describe a NASCAR enthusiast?
It was so hard to pinpoint Scott Jackson. I just remember he loved his character when he would talk on the mic, would love like stock car races in NASCAR. But that wasn't the character. That was just like a layer of that character.
I'm trying to remember that. He did, yeah, he liked cars. He did talk a lot about cars. I mean, he was like our Tommy Lee, like really just like flamboyant, short shorts. So he would wear the pants and rip off the pants and then have the short shorts underneath and just talk nonsense, do all like all the eccentric stuff that would be involved with the rock and roll would be, elaborated through the Scott Jackson character. I don't know if he was like a supernatural, but I'm gonna say he was probably had some type of supernatural element to him. And then there was Maurice Perlman, and you called him a ghost?
Yeah, I believe it was a ghost of a diamond baron. Was that? Am I right on that?
I think he would wear like the kind of like your spooky Halloween white face paint, black eyes, blood dripping down, top hat. So he gave across this appearance of very old money, old world, like very royal, but kind of like a bad boy, like a bad boy royal, So it was, and he had his great song, the Power of Five Dicks, which was a very popular song live. So Maurice, I think again, probably some supernatural vibes with him, but focusing mostly on the money aspect. So we got a wizard, an all-out party animal in our drummer, a very wealthy, eccentric, old money, good times bassist. We can't forget about the Soul Collector, right? Soul Collector.
Oh no, Soul Collector too. That's a very important part of the show.
Soul Collector was the quote manager of the band, who only job was
hold
to
on a second. A bunch of birthday
members.
Balloons just came up on your video screen.
I had birthday balloons?
A bunch of birthday balloons when you said Soul Collector just popped up on your video.
See? Something weird's happening. I don't know. Did I do that? Soul Collector.
Nothing.
Did I do it again?
No, nothing happened.
Let's see what happened. All right. That was weird. Birthday balloons. I love that. Soul was the manager of the band. So how did it all come together? So they were on a quest to find the singer. Somehow the wizard recruited Scott Jackson, recruited Maurice Perlman through the connection of the Soul Collector. And then they became we fell into like the story of Christmas almost, where the three wise men, if you will, Maurice, Scott, and Sarsicus, with the addition of Soul Collector, were searching the world for the child. The child. Who's going to be the child? And our own, I don't know if we ever actually told this story, but the internal myth was that the child was Glenn Danzig.
Yeah.
That's who they were searching for. They were searching for Glenn Danzig, the child. But somehow it got switched up around. They found the wrong kid and they ended up with Mortal Death, who didn't have the chops of the Danzig.
No.
He didn't have the chops. He didn't have the ruggedness, but he impersonated all the chops and impersonated all the ruggedness of the Danzig. So when you saw Mortal, you were expecting this like Glenn Danzig beast coming out there, mother, doing that whole thing, that you would expect. But you didn't get that. You just got some like throwing up sounds on stage and grunts and moans.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like your, what do they say, like your B movie version of Danzig. That's what Mortal Death was always kind of intended to be. Just he wasn't supposed to be there, but somehow he got there.
You were always in a white wedding dress, and it started out as white, but eventually it became white with red all over it. You had a black wig, black and white makeup on, and the main thing I will always remember about Mortal Death is that he's eternally 49. That was the whole
That's right. Thing. That's right. And I'm getting close to that. That's something I'm very excited about, is celebrating when I actually reach Mortal Death age. We'll be together at eternally 49. But yeah, that was his thing. So back when I was 25, I was calling out saying I'm eternally 49. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I would wear this. I would do the white paint on the face. We would do the long black wig. So here's what I would do. I would go to the costume shop, Matt, and I would be like, "Hey, where's your Marilyn Manson costumes?" And they'd be like, "What does Marilyn Manson wear?" Like they didn't really know.
Yeah.
No, it was like very strange because you always had a different look. But that's what I would start off my conversation with. Where is your Marilyn Manson clothes? And then they would point me to like, what did I wear? I wore like I had a leopard coat at one point, which was kind of cool. Mostly like black pants, the white dress, which was very great. But the cool thing, you're right. So let's talk about the white dress
Yeah.
was something that would start very clean, very white.
Yeah.
And then I would take the sword and do like some crotch, kind of like, like
Yeah.
shake. Very not like I was pretty good. I was going like I was like a professional wrestler on the stage. I would go underneath it, make it look like I was going there, doing the
Yeah.
thing. And then we had this awesome shout out for Ben Nye Stage Blood. Ben Nye, is that what it was? Ben Nye? Yeah, it sounds right. That was the good stuff. It tasted like spearmint. It was like
Yes.
very it washed out pretty good, very quality, pretty expensive, but it was worth it. So kids, if you're doing any fake blood, that's what I recommend. That was good stuff. But then I would pour it in the mouth. I would let it drip out. It would get all over everywhere. And then that just became Mortal's look. He just always had the bloody nose. Always had blood pouring out of the mouth.
Doing fake cocaine off a broadsword.
Yeah, we would animate all the stuff. And that was also really fun about the band is that, on top of like Nick, Mike, Rowland, all being good musicians, they were very creative people. So whenever a silly idea, like you filmed a lot of cool stuff for us.
Yeah.
You would do like the documentary stuff for us. I think you did the one where Nick had the big that fake cocaine and he had the vacuum cleaner and he was doing
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he was doing like we got to do some pretty funny, silly stuff that tied in pretty well to the Cealed Kasket with your help. I know we did promo videos for Martyrs.
Every time you guys had a show, I would grab someone from the band and be like, let's just do something weird. I remember you coming to my old apartment in Logan Square. I'm like, we got to go film a video promo for whatever show you guys had coming up. And you're like, what if I was just like in the Mortal Death costume teaching people to work out?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So
that was awesome.
I would film you running through Logan Square, full Mortal Death makeup, shouting, workout time!
Right. My God. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, this is so funny. That was a great video.
Yeah.
That was so silly. Another one of the silly things. So, and then we did something else where, what was it? We were in was it Columbia College? It was some.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes.
The Back to the Future stuff.
Mortal Death trying out for the role of Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Where is that stuff? Is it online? Can you watch it?
I purged a lot of stuff. I think that might be private somewhere.
Okay.
Because so much
of
that,
that's fun. Because that was some funny stuff, man. Very clever. And I think you were a perfect connection with us that way because we were all, like I said, it was more of a visual musical experience, and you helped us a lot with the visual side of it. It was a great ad. And then there were you. Who are you? Sir Judas. Tell me about how Sir Judas even, where did that character even come from?
So yeah, it was Sir Judas, then Count Judas. It was something happened in my real life. I don't really remember, but one of my friends started calling me Judas. I was like, okay. And like, ha. I don't remember when that became a character because I was working with you guys. At first you wanted nothing to do with me. When I hit you up on MySpace, I'm like, hey, can I do like a documentary on you guys? Because I've seen you play like 4 times. You guys are wild. Like, this is so much up my alley. Like, I love like this good music that's really fun and like the combination with art. Like, it really like spoke to me. And I believe it was you or Nick who was like, no, like we had a documentarian before and like it didn't work out. And I kept pressuring. And I was doing a podcast at that time called Ben Nation. This is 2005, I think.
Wow, you were doing it way back then.
Yeah. And I just said, like, let me come interview you guys. We did an interview at the Tonic Room in the basement.
Okay.
you guys were all, no one was in costume, and we just did a really weird interview. It went over well. And at that point I was like, if you guys ever need a videographer, let me know. So I started like filming with you guys. And then at one point someone told me like, you should just be a part of the show, so it doesn't look weird to have like a guy in a camera standing in the audience or like walking on stage.
That's smart.
Because there was a couple times security like tried to kick me out for walking on stage. I'm like, no, I'm with the band, guys. Hey. And so I just became like, I think it was the mythos behind that was, it was very Maurice Perlman-esque. It was, I was actually secretly Arthur Anderson, the man who started the stock market, and I made a pact with the devil to never die, but I had to change my name or something like that. So I was rich, and I just filmed the band for fun. There was no connection between the character and his job.
So you had money, you're just having fun doing it.
Yeah.
I like it.
When you guys played the Metro, I remember they wouldn't let me film. So Mike was like, hey, your whole bit tonight is that you're serving us wine while we're on stage because you want to be a butler for a day. I'm like, okay, perfect.
Oh, that's a bummer. So the Metro wouldn't let you film.
No.
That was such a wild show. You remember that show well?
I remember that you all were headlining at first, and then you said, no, we want to get out of there early. So we had Simply Red headline instead.
Oh, wow, that's a good memory. You're right about that. I don't know. I mean, we probably did, because why would we want to get out of there early? Probably because the crowd was good at the time. Yeah, I remember that show as a very important show. Clearly, like Metro, right? So that was like a bucket list show for us. Metro is a super, super dope spot in Chicago, and like you're a band, you want to play there. And just like the other shows, we put a lot of pre-work into it. So in my mind, when I think about this Metro show, and I don't know if any video exists. I wish some video existed.
We have a video. I think Nick has like the Metro's video of it. I believe Nick has.
Oh, wow.
Nick has all the Cealed Kasket stuff, including for me. I just gave him everything a few years back.
Oh, we gotta find it. We gotta dig through it. I remember a sea of people like with inflatable giant swords.
Mm-hmm.
We had so many inflatable giant swords, and I'm assuming that we were the ones that were blowing them up, because I know we didn't hire people to blow them up, so we must have been backstage blowing up these swords before. And then right before we went on, we handed them out somehow, and all these people were just waving these swords. And I remember being wheeled out in a wheelchair, doing like the Kurt Cobain thing in the wheelchair, and being pushed out, and I was all bloody, and then I jump out of the thing. And it was madness, because from that point on, everything that we would pretend to be almost came true in that night.
Yeah.
So like all the debauchery, all like the mayhem happened. Like I remember the wine glasses immediately falling over and smashing all over the stage. So the stage was full of broken glass. I remember this girl like climbed on the stage and then fell like into the area like between the people and the stage, like just went down. I'm like, she's dead. It was a great experience, because for that 20-30 minutes, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, whatever it was, that was like the highlight of what Cealed Kasket was supposed to be. I don't know if we played well, if we sounded good or what the music was like, but the show that we put on that night, that's what like we were always trying to be. That was our big stage show.
That was the moment I felt like, oh, like this is Gwar, but different than Gwar. Like it really felt like, I'm like, yes, this is like what Cealed Kasket is to me, as like someone who's loved the band and then like kind of weirdly joined the band as well. Like
that's a good tie-in. Gwar, right? Yeah. Gwar is a good way to put it, because they would, their costumes are awesome. Their songs. I just saw them do like a Tiny Desk, which was pretty fun to watch.
Yes, that was a fantastic one.
That was cool. But they would like get the audience like soaking wet, like throw stuff in, and that's what we were doing at this Metro. And we didn't give a care at all. It was just had fun. And I think in my memory, people may disagree, but that was our show. That was our show.
Because you had the music, you had Soul Collector who had his own song, but also collected the souls of the audience as the show was going on. Then you had Jormungand the Brown Knight, the Gold Knight, Lady Red, myself, Count Judas, occasionally Chip Jontine, who was
Chip Jontine.
Chip
Yeah, he was.
Jontine.
Now, Chip Jontine. I want to say he was a mechanic. I want to say like he was some type of mechanic, probably working for Scott Jackson to do his
I,
repairs on his car.
he also
Does
did
that sound
magic.
right?
He did, and he also did like light magic.
Light magic.
There was
Okay.
there was a show that we did. I don't know. It was some sort of weird contest where like you could ride the bus with Cealed Kasket to the show from Chicago to wherever we went. And so like
Wow.
all of us were in costume all day, and Chip Jontine, which came as Chip Jontine, and he was just doing magic for people while I'm filming. And like there was like 30 people that won a contest to ride a bus with us for an hour and a half. It was the weirdest shit in the world.
Boy, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with the guys about this and see if they remember. It's coming to me back to me, but yeah, there was a contest. It must have been that like West Dundee show or something that we were going
yeah.
to.
Yeah, I think it was.
But yeah, ride the bus with Cealed Kasket. What a weird idea. What a weird idea.
What a ballsy idea for like a local band, essentially.
Oh my god.
But you
yeah,
guys
that
had
was so much fun.
you had such a like loyal, dedicated, and like ravenous fan base. Like where you'd go to like anywhere out in Illinois, like whether in Chicago, the suburbs, or the Terrace up in Madison, like that place would be packed.
Wow,
It's packed with people that are well aware of what's about to happen. They're excited for it. They want to see Sarsicus the Wizard grow during his song. You know, like they want to dance on stage with the band. Like the fans that were there knew what to expect. So like having that bus idea totally worked.
It was kind of like Kiss, where like Gene's gonna spit blood, right? So like at one point there's gonna just be madness. Paul's gonna fly across the stage or the other one there. Yeah, we had certain things that we did that people just, no matter how many times they saw the same like garbage magic show of watching Sarsicus grow.
Yeah.
But that was the charm of it. I'm like, is he really growing? Like in the first, they're like, how are they doing it? And then you realize there's no, he's just standing up. There's nothing behind it at all. It's just a thing. But people would love that. I bet if we didn't do that, it's like, oh, that's not a Cealed Kasket show. And I remember some shows where we didn't do crowns.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's not a Cealed Kasket show because you get lazy. Like, I don't want to.
You want the audience to fight with each other. Like you want the audience to like be on their team, and you want them to be engaged with you guys, but also you want them to fight within each other over which team is better. Gold team's the best, by the way. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Of course. No, gold team was, again, I think we're constantly going with that gold and that dollars. They were very wealthy. They had a good leader in that gold night.
Yeah, Scott Dressler was fantastic.
Awesome costume. I don't know where he got that thing from. He would come out in a gold night costume and just like, I am gold. He had his own theme song. Yeah. See, that's what I appreciated about this. And I just expected so I don't know. Here's my thought. So gold night, red night, brown night, you all created your own like costumes and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really put stuff into it. And I think the reason we stopped doing the crowns is because we hoped that people would just be like, I'm gold knight for life and I'm going to come in with my own gold.
Yeah.
And that was just a dream. That never really happened. But that would have been so cool if people started having like custom gold and brown and red outfits to go along with that. I mean, that was some wild times.
There were a few of us that got way too into it and just like became part of the lore, which I really enjoyed, like seeing other people, like when your brother took over as Soul Collector. I was just like, yes, I'm so excited to see somebody else that's already in the group, but like step into a role or create a new role for the group too.
We would have rotating Soul Collectors. So Soul Collector was a guy that wore a black mask. You could never see his face.
Yeah.
So he would always be this mysterious person. And people liked mystery. Like people were never really scared of Soul Collector. Like be guy you couldn't see his face. He's coming. He's doing this to you. He's trying to take your soul. They're like, "Ooh, take my soul." They like that. So we had a couple different Soul Collectors, and they were all musical.
Yeah,
they were all able to play an instrument. I think they were all like either piano or bass players or something. So when we needed them, they could jump. They could jump in and also help out that way. Honestly, Matt, that was a role I wish I had. Soul
Soul
collector,
Collector,
right?
yeah.
Don't you wish you were soul collector behind the mask, just like the dancer of the band?
I came in at a time where Matt, the other Matt, was still not Matt Lamson Germingham, but there was a third Matt who was Soul Collector,
Yeah.
and then I had established Count Judas, and like people knew me at shows, and I'm like, that's when the Soul Collector vacancy opened up. I'm like, I can't jump in. I'm already like an established character at this point. But luckily, your brother was like so charismatic and just fit in perfectly for it.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He had a good role. What are some of your favorite shows? Because we did a lot. We did, like you said, Madison was huge.
Terrace was always the most fun to go to because that crowd was like more prepared than any other crowd, even if they had never seen Kasket before, because word of mouth spread, and you'd see like 1,000 people watching like Cealed Kasket.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for us. So we would go. Jimmy was attending the Madison, or University of Wisconsin in Madison, so he was our connection there.
Yeah,
you know, our Soul Collector guy was our connection to Madison. So he was able to book us a show at the Terrace, which is a really cool spot. Like,
yeah.
it's so the backdrop is the lake there. You know, if you're a student at the university, you go there, you get your beers there, you hang out. It's a popular student spot. And all kinds of bands play there. And then we got to play there. And we are this filthy, disgusting, foul mouth. I mean, just like the thing that you don't want at the university, right? I mean, you don't want Cealed Kasket at the university event for many reasons, but they asked us there, and the crowds were always so into it because they were so young and so drunk, probably, but they were always so into it. They would stand up, cheer, like just it was probably some of our biggest crowds that we would see at the Terrace there. We played with this awesome band called Awesome Car Funmaker.
Oh, I love
another
that.
part of our connection to Madison. They were a local band there, and they would bring a whole bunch of people. They would always support us. They were really cool kids, and they would always like big fans of ours. We were big fans of theirs, so they helped us out. And we did that cool tour together. Oh, I just forgot.
That's
we did.
right.
You were on that, right?
I was on that tour, and Justin from Awesome Car Funmaker played Soul Collector during that time. Wow. I don't know why my memory with Cealed Kasket is so good.
I love it.
I was so drunken in film school during that time. But
no, that's why. I mean, we all were.
Yeah.
New York. Remember New York? I was throwing up all over the place. That was terrible.
Oh yeah.
But terrible.
The person running that show, was it Eileen's Grocery or something, kept telling us like, this is where the Strokes got this start. This is where the Strokes got this start over and over again. I cannot, like, I don't remember that show. I know I taped the whole show, but all I remember is the promoter, like, you guys can be big. The Strokes got this start here at Eileen's Grocery.
Oh, no pressure, dude. Oh my God. Strokes. No, that was probably why I was drinking so much. My God. Yeah, that was fun. That was a wild time. We did a good tour with the Awesome Car Funmaker kids. We went, that was called the Midwest Bleeds Best tour, right? We just kind of went around all the Midwest areas. I remember, well, two things are sticking out right now. One was Dayton, Ohio. Dayton, Ohio is just a party city. Dayton, great place. They loved us. They loved to party. They loved to have fun. So we fit with Dayton. I remember a lot of celebrations and good times happening there. And then I remember someplace in Michigan. Help me out with this one. It was called the MySpace Internet Cafe. Right? Does that sound right?
It's I don't know if it was called that, but it was something that ridiculous. It might have been the MySpace Internet Cafe, actually.
That's where we played in Michigan. And it was you know, I mean, it's a weird spot. They had basketball courts there.
Yeah.
It was a place where kids would go hang out and go on MySpace, and occasionally a band would play.
Yeah.
We did play a whole lot of more shows. Those are the two that are sticking out: the MySpace Internet Cafe, clearly because that's a weird one, and Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to Dayton. Those guys are awesome.
The one thing that
Awesome.
that really really sticks out isn't even a show for me. Although there's two
Oh.
things. There was the meet and greet at Tonic Room with Cealed Kasket, where I think you guys just put on MySpace like we're having a meet and greet, and not even the whole band didn't even show up. It was me, you, Mike, Scott was bartending, and then Soul Collector, and we were in a booth for only 4 people, and then we had a velvet rope so no one could sit with us.
And were we in full costume?
Full costume.
What? I love this. It sounds like something we would do. So we a meet and greet. So only 4 people showed up.
Only one. I believe it was only one member, or no, Maurice. So it was 2 members of the actual band, and then 2 or 3 of us that were part of the stage show. But we wouldn't sign autographs or talk to anybody. But in character, very loudly the whole time.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that was what? What else do you remember? What was the other one?
My favorite memory is Cealed Kasket. Someone from like a Battle of the Bands said, "Can you guys send one member to help judge this Battle of the Bands?" And I think 6 of us showed up.
Is that the one in Wrigleyville? We went to a place in Wrigleyville. That was really weird. That was really, really weird. So that's a memory I like you bringing that one up. So we had we were asked to be a judge for some Battle of the Bands. I wish I remember more details, but it was in Wrigleyville. And it was not it was just regular bands.
Yeah.
Like a normal bands. And you're right. They probably just wanted me. I think they just wanted one person of the band to come in. And I know you were there. Mike was there. I was there. Probably Jormungand was there.
Jormungand was there, yeah.
We had a lot of people show up. It was entourage showing up for the one judge. And then the bands had to play in front of us in these costumes. And then there were normal judges. Everyone else there was just normal. Everyone else there was just like.
There was 2 other judges, and like when we walked in, I remember the look on their face was just like, "What is going on?" Like there's only supposed to be one more judge. There's like 4 or 5 people walking in. They brought a broadsword and a giant bag of baby powder that they keep yelling is cocaine.
Oh my god! Yeah, that was wild. We did some good stuff, man. And we were in character the entire time.
Yep.
And I think if I remember right, they probably asked us to leave. I don't think we stayed. I think we were probably asked to leave. Similar to what happened in what was the place in West Dundee?
Oh, that was Clearwater Theater.
Clearwater Theater?
Yeah.
Because this is the one, if it's the right place, we were scheduled to play. And I was sort of
sorry.
I was pissed off about something. I was pissed. I was on a rant. Like, I want guest passes. I want people on the guest list. I needed names on the guest list. I think that's what I was.
It was me and Jormy.
I needed your names on the guest list.
Yeah, because we weren't considered part of the band, and
yeah, there you go. So at least I wasn't being just a jerk. I was going for you guys. Okay, thought I was just making stuff up. I need names on the guest list. So I'm making sure you guys are on the guest list. I'm really pissed about it. And then somehow I'm going to the manager of this place and I'm making this bullshit story about how the Loop radio station is coming here. Like they're supposed to come and watch the show, and we're going to have important people in this crowd, and we're bringing them down to your junkie establishment, and you better give us respect because we're bringing all the people here. And if you don't want that to happen, we're not playing. And I stopped the show. Right? Didn't I bring us all out of there? I made us leave the show?
Yeah, I believe the response from the person, if I remember correctly, is what you want a guest list so your mommies and daddies can come into the show. And that was your trigger. Because it's like, it's like they're part of the band. They just don't play instruments. Like, screw you. That place was a
prick.
Yeah,
what a prick. And so that's right. He says, so your mommy and daddy could go in. He said, and we're out of here. And then I made everyone leave.
Yeah.
Made everyone leave. And so at this place. So that was our rock and roll moment. That was our Guns N' Roses moment.
You're lucky you didn't play
us?
there. I that place sucked. Like my band at that time had played there like 2 or 3 times. It was a good venue, but like the management was terrible, and they were
Clearly.
so rude. And it's just like at that time, like I was in like a shitty like hardcore punk band, and I'm like, just why are you guys so mean? We didn't get a cut of the door either, which was really weird because they made a lot of money off us that night. That when we played there, but that place was. Luckily,
they're not around anymore.
Oh no, hell no.
Thank goodness.
Nothing's
yeah,
around.
that was a weird spot.
Yeah, like Otto's has gone too, and Otto's was kind of, for me, that was my favorite place to watch Casket because all of DeKalb knew who Cealed Kasket was, and was like super.
Otto's
prepped.
was really good to us.
Yeah.
So Otto's was another place where we could pretend we were rock stars.
Yeah.
So at least for me. Now other bands, I don't know because I don't really talk. I never talked to other bands about what their deals were, what they worked out, or what they got as far as payment or any other special things. But at Otto's, I remember I said I wanted pizza and a deli tray.
Yep.
And I got it. I was so happy. I'm like, really? Pizza and a deli tray? I got it. And we back there was a big deli tray, remember? It was all
I remember.
Some good stuff. So I felt really like that was my moment. I finally got my pizza and deli tray.
when we played Otto's, like when I played Otto's with my other band at the same place, we didn't get access to that green room. There was a secondary green room that was smaller. Casket always got the bigger one. We didn't get pizza or deli trays. And I believe the cut of the door was a lot less. So like Casket got, comparative to other bands I knew that played Otto's, you guys got one of the higher end deals that like Snoop Dogg would get when you show up.
Nice. I like that. That makes me feel really good. Yeah, they treated us really well. But I think we saw the decline of Otto's. Like our first couple of shows there were really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end, it was just playing for 6. The crowd started disappearing there for a while, and I bet that was part of the reason of the closure.
People stopped going to Otto's. People that weren't into
right.
I guess like the love for live music slowly started dying down. Where
it was interesting. Some other place were showing up there. I think Otto's was just kind of it's declined, but that was another good spot while it lasted.
Yeah.
So we lived it up, man. We lived it up in those Cealed Kasket times. Now, remind me of this. So when we were doing Cealed Kasket,
mm-hmm.
we were also doing Lovers of the Sea.
I did want to bring that up. I love Lovers of the Sea.
And I'm honestly I'm at a point in my life where I identify closer with Dorfin Wales.
Yep.
More than I ever have. Like I feel like I'm getting real close to just not the dirty Dorfin Wales, but the Dorfin Wales is just like I want to live on a cruise ship and just like live this cruise ship life. The cruise ship life is the life for me, my friend. But that was another really fun band that we had. We had a lot of good times with. You were around for a lot of those too, right?
Yeah, you guys played when I had was running a comedy show and producing a comedy like stand-up show out in the suburbs. You guys played the second show. Like, so it'd be a bunch of stand-up comedians, and then Lovers of the Sea closed. And
I remember that.
The audience had no idea what was happening. Explain Lovers of the Sea, because it's...
Yeah, so this one's a lot easier. Well,
yeah, it's easier, but more complicated.
So the same guys, same group of guys would do like almost the opposite of what Cealed Kasket was. The thought of it was it's a band that performs on a cruise ship for people that are really, they're not there to see the band. They're there to take in the drinks and the sea and the sun and the pools and the environment. So the band is not the main focus. So that was kind of always the center point. We would have like this band that would just be able to kind of play and provide some background music. But if you listen to what they're doing, kind of really weird, right? That's where that gets weird. So we had, this is going to be a tough one to remember. We had Sheldon Reef. Sheldon Reef was Who was Sheldon? Sheldon was the bass player,
Yeah.
and he was the drunk. He was always the always never sober Sheldon Reeve,
Yep.
the never sober Sheldon Reeve. Omar Tusk on the guitar.
Oh my
Just
God.
recently lost 300 pounds. Put your hands together for Omar Tusk. Second bypass surgery. Omar Tusk. He's lucky to be here tonight, everybody. On the drums,
It was Rollin
Mr.
with like clothes stuffed into his shirt to make him look fatter.
Yeah, yeah. After he lost weight, so he would stuff his shirt. You buy big shirts, stuff it with pillows, and play guitar over this really stuffed thing.
I love
What an
his
amazing
character
guy.
gimmicks so much. They were so
Ah,
like
he did, and he, Rollin is a guy that I mean, I don't know. We pushed him, right? We made him wear the wizard costume. I know he hated that.
yeah.
Right? We made him wear that pillow costume. I know he hated that. But he did it all, and he was probably. I mean, clearly, you remember that what the efforts he put in for that. It was a
Yeah.
big part of the guy. And then we had Philip Watercrest. Philip Watercrest on the drums. And Philip Watercrest was Nick. He was the guy that we quoted as the one who put the whole band together. And then there was Dorf and Wales, and that was me, the singer of the band. And Dorf and Wales was this adult, but as a child, he was on a cruise ship and he saw this band perform, and he was mesmerized by their talent. He saw their dance moves, and he was like, so that's was Dorfman's inspiration. He was inspired by a cruise ship band. He wasn't inspired by Neil Diamond. He wasn't inspired by Barry Manilow. He was inspired by a cruise ship band. That's the mindset, the framework that we had to put of the lead singer of this band. Okay, it's very easily swayed. So the four of these guys come together, and they come as lovers of the sea, and they become a cruise ship band. And I'm trying to think of the story. The cruise ship either stopped or they got fired. They were no longer on the boat, and now they had to work on land. They were going to do some land shows.
Yeah.
And the land shows were very difficult for the band because it was very still.
Yeah.
Very different from sea legs. It's hard to, when you go, you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had some trouble with the land shows. But this was a really fun band. We were able to come up with some cool songs. I like these songs a lot more than the Cealed Kasket songs, to be honest. The Shucka My Ho.
Sign Me Up Daddy is still
Sign Me Up Daddy.
It's a depressing song about a boy wanting to play baseball and his dad won't sign him up for it.
Yeah, it's a very
It's
good. It's Jimmy Buffett, rest in peace, Jimmy. The he clearly he was our blueprint for a lot of the music.
Yeah.
And this song, well, even Sign Me Up Daddy is a little Springsteen, a little Buffett, but very depressing song about a guy, a child who loses his parents and his brother, and growing up with it. And he tells a story of it through the ages of 4, I think 2, 3, and 4, and then 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2. I remember when I was 2 years old, 3, 4, and I remember when I was 99. So it's a story of a man who lived his life without any real family. Very depressing, but people love this stuff. And these songs were really good in my mind. And I remember we did a show. You were there in Lake Michigan, right? The party boat show.
I didn't do the party boat show.
You weren't there.
No, somebody else was videoing.
Yeah, we did a party boat show on Lake Michigan, open bar, and that was what we've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right. So as the not the characters in the band, but the actual players, like, we have to eventually get this music on the water. And we did, and that was fun. I think we might have done one more after that on water, but we definitely played a lot more land shows. It's played a lot with Mr. Blotto.
Yeah.
We did a lot of the
right.
Mr. Blotto. I don't forget what they call the summer solstice shows or Blotopia shows. We did a Hotel Blotto show with them. Those were always fun. And Lovers of the Sea was a great thing. So Dorf and Wales.
You still haven't brought up the best song. The best song you guys did. Grab a Plate.
Oh yeah. So I mean, have you been on a cruise?
Yeah. I've been on a cruise a couple times.
So the cruise ship is all you can eat. That's what whenever everyone says go on a cruise, I'm like, so how was the food? Because the question you follow it up with, because that's all you do. You eat all day, and at least that's what I think about. So he wrote a song about what you do on a cruise ship, and you wake up in the morning, you stretch. Of course, you head up to the Lido deck. You got to head up to the Lido deck if you're on the cruise. smell that. What does that smell? I smell some bacon. I smell eggs. So you know what I'm going to do? I grab the plate, you take a walk with the plate, put some food on the plate, sit down with the plate, and you eat all day.
You eat all day.
And you eat all day.
And you eat all day.
And you eat all day. And this is the song this would repeat, and it would tell them, okay, after this, now I need lunch. I'm in the pool. I smell the pizza bar. I swim over to the pizza bar. I eat some pizza. Got a cramp. Oh, it's again, these songs were fun, and people would just be like getting silly.
Yeah.
And we
also,
would get silly.
Like, that song had such a good call to action to the audience to like sing with you, like, because the lyrics were very easy during the chorus. I remember I was doing Lovers of the Sea was playing Tonic Room, and I opened up the show as Edward Smathers, the motivational comedian who's very bad at stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I remember Ed Smathers.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the party?
Hey, where's the party, everybody? Let's
There he is.
Hey, all right.
There he is.
I remember, because again, this was during a time where it's like, if I'm in character, and this is something I actually did throughout stand-up comedy, like, I'm in character the whole night. You can't get me out. So I remember I did Smathers. It was Smathers' first show, and he got 0 laughs, which was the purpose. And then I sat down with our friend Sarah, who was like a diehard Kasket fan, and Lovers of the Sea came on, and then Grab a Plate came on. And I remember everyone in the Tonic Room by the third chorus doing Grab a Plate. Hey, editor Matt here. I found the clip that we are talking about for Lovers of the Sea playing Grab a Plate, and I'm just going to play the last chorus. It is so silly and fun, and one of my favorite memories. So just enjoy this clip.
So what do we do? You know, grab a plate.
Grab a plate.
Take a walk with your plate.
Take a walk with your plate.
Put some food on the plate.
Put some food on the plate.
Sit down with the plate.
Sit down with the plate.
And you eat all day.
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 And you eat all day. Come on, you say that. Grab a plate.
Grab a plate.
Take a walk with the plate.
Take a walk with the plate.
Put some food on the plate.
Put some food on the plate.
Sit down with the plate.
Sit down with the plate.
And you eat all day.
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 Oh, Chicago, you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Diver McDiver. Sheldon Reef. Philip Watercrest. The big man, Opa Tusk. Dolphin Whales, you listen closely, you can hear the harbor master calling us back. It's time to go back on that boat. I'm sorry, it's that time. But we'll never forget you, Chicago. We got to go back on that boat.
And I was like, that, like, you guys understand so well how to get the audience involved with something on paper is so dumb. And I don't mean that in a dismissive way by any means.
I get it. That was our special thing about us, is that we were very audience participation.
Yeah.
And if the audience wasn't there, like, we sucked. You know, it wasn't a show unless there were people that were following along, and that was for both bands. It had to be Kasket and Cealed Kasket, and then we had a couple others that we didn't do to the max. But that comes from a background of, I think, really, like, and I'll speak for Rollin too. So like Nick, Mike, Rollin, myself, we all loved, like, we came from rock, but I think like funk.
Yes.
Like that, the George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic, those shows, we would go to those shows at a very young age, you know, high school age. And if you ever go to one of those shows, which if you haven't, there's so much fun.
We all went together
Because
to
it's
one.
all, there you go.
Yeah.
It was probably like a ritual. Like, you had to feel the event of what they do on stage and what the crowd does. Because it's, again, they're awesome musicians, but if the audience isn't alive with them, the show is not magic.
Yeah.
And they know that. They know that what they're doing is like call and response. You know, we're going to say something, the audience is going to say it. We're going to do something, you're going to do something. And it has to work together to make it fun. And I've seen so many P-Funk shows, and, you know, a lot of them have been fantastic. Definitely some have been magical. Others have been lackluster because it has to have that ebb and flow with the
Mhm.
band and the audience. So we probably brought you to that to experience it, but to also like just understand this is what we do here at the Casket and the Lovers of the Sea shows.
Yeah, like
So
I had listened to Parliament so many times, but I remember like when we went and saw Parliament and George Clinton. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was an outdoor festival, and when they were doing the show, and they'd be like, "Here comes Naked Cowboy," and he would just dance for a minute, and then he'd go away. I'm like, okay, I understand Sealed Casket like 1,000,000%. Like, here's the band, but also like we have side attractions too. If you're bored with the band, you won't be. But like, here comes a guy with long dreadlocks and a fake beard. Enjoy him for a moment, and then he goes away.
That's exactly right. They would have their own characters. They had a universe of characters who would come out on stage and perform, and we were shamelessly stealing everything that George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic was doing, because they were our heroes, and it's just we were able to do that through heavy metal music. We were able to do that through yacht rock music, if that's what you want to call it. But we just took that formula of involving the audience as much as we could to get them to come along, and it worked. It was that's what I liked about it the most.
It worked for It worked for years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember even like when I had departed, I guess, from my character, it being involved in shows, still going on to autos, even when autos is on the decline, and it's still working for the audience and being excited for you guys, but also like at that point, I think at Sealed Casket had been 10 years, maybe 8 years or something like that. And I'm like, I'm glad that still gets people excited, especially like when culture at that time is like, I like something for a minute and I move on to the next.
Yeah. We never had an official end. I think we knew it was coming to a time, there's only so long you can do that kind of, at least for me, because I'm not a singer. And that was another thing that I was very lucky to be a part of, because I am not I'm not a singer. I don't know if I can hit notes. I don't know if I can hold notes. But I like to be a showman, perform, do like some silly stuff and be on a stage. So thank God that I had a strong group of musicians that trusted me and believed in me and let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I always deserved that spot.
No, you did.
The band probably could have been very well served with someone that could hold a note, like a professional singer, but that would have changed the dynamic of it. It probably wouldn't have been that same feeling, But for me to even have the opportunity for as long as I did, and those guys trusted me to do it, as many shows as they did, even when I would like show up unconscious, it was they would be very kind and allow me to do my thing, and I was it made it feel very special, very special. So now I'm at a point now where I would love to go back and do like a lovers show, maybe one day, a one-off, maybe even a casket show. Nick and I were just talking the other day. We had just were on the phone. We brainstormed about 3 different casket songs that were actually really fun and interesting. And I think we shared them with Rollin, and he had no feeling. He's like, whatever. But I think, I think we thought they were fun. I think Mike thought they might have been fun too. But anyway, I think, we're all kind of scattered. So it's difficult to come back and do an actual show. But I think like what we're doing right now, like we have technology to probably link up and do some type of more visual fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like Instagram Reels. Like how cool would we have been with Instagram Reels?
If YouTube and all that was around back then, like it would have easily been a game changer.
YouTube was just starting. So if you go back and you watch because I remember sitting at my computer trying to upload a video of a horse from Madison. And it was the first thing that I probably uploaded. My name is Mortal Death, I think, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's a really grainy, terrible, like super junky quality. But that was probably like one of the first YouTube loads. Like, and if you go back, it's probably like I don't even know how old it is, but that is I remember it was a long time to load it, trying to figure out what's going on. Those were the before it even became over to Google, right? It was
Yeah.
probably like a YouTube standalone thing. Yeah, so we were right at the cusp of the technology change there. But yeah, because we were so visual. We were so visual. We probably would have been able to do some pretty cool stuff. I see a lot of cool bands now as I scroll through my Instagram feed. I see this one band that shows up where they got Bigfoot playing. I see another band that's got like another like Bigfoot. I guess there's like a Bigfoot theme happening here. Clearly, on a much larger scale, you got talented bands like Ghost that are putting on like the performance along with the music. Guar, you said, with that Tiny Desk show, they're still out there doing their stuff. So it's cool
I
to
have
see.
it all. I'm looking at my YouTube channel. It's all like private and unlisted. But Mortal Death Workout, Maurice Perlman video of him waiting to get his haircut, the music video we did for fucking Murder You, which we have not discussed.
Yes. Matt, that was like such a good thing. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah,
for a minute.
let's talk about that.
So that was a great project, right? That was a fun project. We made this song called Fucking Murder You. What a great title.
Yes.
And it was a ballad. And I remember being so excited when we wrote this song. Like we were all in the tonic room because that was our practice space before we got the big one. We were in the front area of the tonic room. And we were just, goofing around. And all of a sudden we're just, Brown probably starts playing that doo-doo-doo, whatever the notes are. And words start flowing. I'm gonna rip off your arm, put it in my display case. What? Then I'm gonna put something in the hole where your arm was, but don't worry, it'll be cool. So these words just flowed. It wasn't written. It was just like, we're going somewhere with this here.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I remember was, I'm gonna fucking murder you. I'm gonna fucking murder you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then I'm gonna fucking murder you. So all these songs are available on Spotify, Apple, whatever you get to. They're streaming. Cealed Kasket, Cealed Kasket, Kasket, and you can hear it. So we wrote the song on the spot. We were so excited. We played it again, and then you remember Tony, the bartender from Tonic Room?
Yes, yeah, I do.
Bald head Tony. He would come on in. He came on in, and we're like, Tony, you got to hear this song. We just wrote the song. That was the third time we're playing it. And we were so excited. And I don't think Tony liked it as much as we did. He was like, okay, whatever, But we were like, yeah, this is our song. This is our song. So, we finally had our ballad. Every heavy metal band has to have their ballad, their power ballad. We had our power ballad. And I'm thinking like, well, we got to have a video. And the only thing I could think of was that Journey video.
Faithfully.
All I could think of was Steve Perry in the bus, like go swiping the mirror, like and just like that was a cool video. And I'm like, we should just recreate that video. We should just do scene for scene that video with us in it. And you pulled it off, and I
think we got close. I think because I was drinking and doing a bit of drugs during that time. So like if I was a bit more clear headed, I think we could have got it dead on. But the Faithfully video is just Journey on the road, and there's really weird moments in it where like Steve Perry is shaving his mustache, or like there's people just dancing at one point. Like it's just so weird. But the fucking Murder You visit, the video, we hit the major moments of the Journey video. And then also I just flat out ripped some of the music video from the Journey videos. Like you'll see the tour bus and Steve Perry rubbing his hand. That's just from that video. We put it in our video.
Yeah, I think that was encouraged. I'm like, just take those shots. Just take the ones that we can't film.
Yeah.
Put them in the video. Do the ones we can. Like the people dancing. I definitely remember Rollin and Mike in costume just like dancing around, doing their thing. Yeah, that was great, man. That was really that was a great video.
Yeah.
And I was very proud of that one because the inspiration was the journey thing. We you know, I don't want to say it was storyboarded or anything. Maybe it was or not, but it was the effort was put in to recreate it.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I think, I probably watched it a couple of years ago. It's still one that I think I love seeing. It's a good one, man.
I'll unleash all these. I'll re-unleash all these. I even have Lovers of the Sea. I think your first show, Just Grab a Plate from Tonic Room. Just that song.
How fun.
Oh, and
that's cool.
My student film that I was terrible at production, but my student film, which was Maurice Perlman killing one of my friends. One of my student films at Columbia College was a Cealed Kasket, like essentially music video.
Very film noir. It was dark. It was black and white.
It was black and white. Yeah, we were doing 16 millimeter, like developing the film on your own, like before Avid and all. Well, Avid existed, but before like Columbia had moved to completely doing digital and Avid.
Right.
So like I'm sitting in that like editing room, like splicing together footage, smoking at the same time, which you shouldn't have been doing, but we didn't care.
Hey, that's the editor life. That was what you picture an editor to do back then. Sitting there in the dark room, smoking. Hopefully you don't get it on the film.
The silver nightshade just explodes.
Right. That was at the back in the days, man. So that was a really cool video, and I hope that's out there because I'd love to share that one with people.
It's just all private. I think when I've talked about this, but like when I've lost my job, I hid a lot of my like previous work because I'm like, I've got stuff up there from 2008. So 15.
Oh, you get canceled for Cealed Kasket stuff. I'm sure, just like the contents of the songs. It was wild, man. Like people would just do anything for alcohol, but they were really involved in the show.
Yes.
Like you said, it was a part of the audience participation and people at the most basic level of all of it was just having fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't something you took seriously. It wasn't something that you thought too much of or invested too much of your brain in. You just went and had a good time. And man, I hope we could have more of that where you could just go and have a good time and let loose and get wild because those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun times.
But I also feel too old for that at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm almost eternally 49.
Yeah.
And I think like at this point you have to say, those were the things that you did at that time.
Yep.
Thank goodness for the streaming platforms because you can for people that have never heard of Cealed Kasket or any of this nonsense I'm talking about, like you can go out now, put on your phone and give yourself a 10-second experience if you want to put yourself in that environment. And that's fun. And then YouTube is a lot of the clips are out there, but moving forward, I've always thought about what is the next phase of Kasket,
Yeah.
the next phase, or where does it go from there? So I've plotted out a couple different ideas of where it could go, going into this adult realm. I think there's some movie ideas that I have always been brewing, like what happens if Cealed Kasket gets so when were we doing this? 2006, let's say?
2005, 2006, yeah.
So let's say, now it's 2028. I don't know why I picked that year. And through these streaming platforms, a child has rediscovered the music of Cealed Kasket. And now all of a sudden, it's being shared more and it's gone viral, if you will, right? The viral feel. And then it could be like almost they have to play this one show and it becomes almost like a road trip movie, going down, getting the band back together, recreating, driving the car, the van down to the place, to the show, experiences along the way. I don't know. Think about that. That was my, hangover Cealed Kasket road trip movie.
Just embellish the road trip that we did to New York.
Yeah.
For Eileen's grocery.
Exactly.
That because
but older.
that road trip was so uncomfortable. I think it was for me because I was all the way in the back seat, next to not only the speakers but also the costume bin, which smelled the work. And it's all of our costumes. It wasn't just like your guys. Like my stuff's in there. Jormy's was in there too.
I think it was mostly mine because that smelled the most, only because mine took the most damage.
Yeah.
Because every show I would be soaked in blood, beer, and whatever else was thrown on me.
Yes.
Every night I was doing it. And we didn't have washing machines every night, and we
No.
only had one costume. So when we were doing like the Midwest bleeds best, when we saw a laundromat, I'm like, we gotta stop. So we need to stop there because it stunk. And not only did it stink, man, I think we had mold on it too. I think it was mold.
There was mold. Yeah.
On the wig. I think we had mold on the wigs and stuff.
My cloak had mold on it at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. We were not healthy.
No. We barely ate. All we did was drink.
Oh, so, I guess they would tell the story. If you want to start a band, don't do this. But these were good experiences, good times. And I met you. And I don't know how we would have met if it wasn't for MySpace and Cealed Kasket.
Yeah. Thanks.
And it's a shame that
at
it's been this
MySpace.
long.
Yeah. I mean, well, like we both had children. And I think that like I very much stopped stand-up comedy when we had my son. Cause I'm like, I needed to change focus. I stopped playing music really. I still play on occasion with some buddies, like my old bandmates, but I don't know. Like when I got married and had a kid, my priorities switched for me,
It happens.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like I guess I still got to talk to you randomly through Zoom or LinkedIn.
I love this. I really do, because I think, you brought back some experience that I clearly have forgotten. I didn't remember the VIP meet and greet at Tonic Room. Like, what were we doing?
It's so
I know
weird.
we did that. Like, and then we would do we would do all kinds of weird interviews. We were always in costume. We were always kind of very serious about maintaining that costume and that character.
Yeah.
I put a lot of dedication into that, and it was great. And I'm really proud of us that we did that stuff, man. And New York.
The Strokes got their start here. You're going to love Eileen's Grocery.
I remember the burglar. What was the burglar? Where was the burglar from? Burglar.
Oh, this one I don't know.
So I remember one of the shows, we played Eileen's Grocery, and there was something else. Maybe it was Eileen's Grocery. There was a kid there.
Yeah.
There was a kid. And he was probably the kid of the owners. He was wearing a black and white striped shirt, and we all called him the burglar.
Right.
Look, there's the burglar. The burglar's at our show. Look out, the burglar. And that's what I remember the most about New York, the burglar. What if that kid's clearly grown up now. He's a grown-up burglar.
Grown-up burglar.
Burglar.
One of the things that this is going on longer than I thought, but that's fine. One of the things I really remember is that Kasket took the Edward Smathers act on the road. Like I was doing double time character work, doing Smathers opening up for Kasket and then getting into Count Judas for the show. And I remember one specific autos where I asked my wife, or then girlfriend at the time, like, can you just film this Smathers like set I'm about to do? It's going to go very bad. But don't stop filming. So she's filming at this point in the Edward Smathers storyline. He was doing cocaine all the time, and he was just always hopped up on cocaine. That's like what Smathers was doing.
I didn't know that about Smathers. That explains a lot.
It does.
I was like, why? He's always looking for the party. So now I understand why.
Where's the party is where's the cocaine?
Gotcha. Okay.
So I come up on stage in the Smathers outfit, but with like Rollins leather jacket on, I believe. And I do the same tired bit I've been doing, but louder. And I got off the stage and I'm like, okay, like that went well. I get home, I watch the videotape. There are two people talking behind my wife very loudly about how they're going to throw their beer cans at me. And one guy's like, no, let's not do that. Like when he gets off stage, let's jump him.
Oh, Christ. Wow. I'll tell you, the crowds at the Sealed Casket shows were a little intense.
A little intense. They liked what you were doing, or they were very vocal how much they didn't like you.
Yeah.
Smathers was the only time I got the vocally didn't like you. Like, I hate what you're doing. Stop saying where's the party. And also Rowland punched me in the stomach when he was coming on stage because he hated it so much.
Yeah. There was it sounds like those were towards the dark days of Casket where the people were just wild. We had some wild people in the crowd, and I will remember being a little nervous that things would get out of hand.
Yeah,
because again, we weren't metal. I mean, I like Guns N' Roses, but I wasn't too much of like encouraging violence. I mean, I'm not too much.
No.
I was never encouraging violence, but I think through the music, sometimes it clearly did. We had a song called
Prison Riot. Or no, Prison Fight.
Riot Party.
Riot Party.
Prison Fight, too. Riot Party was a song where I think the last 2 minutes of the song where I see some tables standing upright,
Yes.
flip them over. Flip them over. I see a table right there. Flip it over. Like, those are the words to the song. So I don't think anyone really ever flipped over a table, but that's probably why the audience is a little more wild. We were encouraging.
I think it got close. Like, I think if you brought a new person to that show, like to see Casket play, and they weren't fully aware of what was going on, in on the joke, I guess. There might have been times where people had gotten very close to that point where it's like, yeah, I should flip that table over. Like, the singer told me to. But I think there was enough people there that were like, no. Like, this is fun. This is just fun and silly.
We'll just jump him after the show.
They never jumped me. But I remember my wife, Nina, coming, like, she ran backstage with the camera and she's like, just like, put your costume on. Like, here's the camera. There's 2 guys that are behind us that are like really mad. I'm like, it won't matter because I'm going to put white face paint on and like a cloak and I'll have glasses on. Like, no one will recognize me, so it doesn't matter.
What a cool move. Yeah, Nina was cool. Nina hooked me up with a wedding dress.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nina hooked me up with a wedding dress that I wore for many, many years there. And I remember one of our first Otto shows, might have been the show that you were at there, where we actually protested the show. So we were wearing like suits or something or other clothes. It was like, don't go to this show. Don't go. We were protesting our own show in front of it. And then we would play the show afterwards. So we had a lot of opportunities to piss people off, but then they wouldn't know who we were because we'd slip in and out of these costumes. We were pretty sneaky that way. Oh man, this is fun.
Yeah. That's something I took into stand-up comedy, like right after I kind of stayed out in the suburbs, where I'd go to open mics and do 6 sets as 6 different characters, and no one knew. And they'd all be like, I'd be like a bad magician, a motivational speaker, a guy pitching movies to an audience, like, but no one ever knew. I think that a lot of that came from Casket watching us do that same shtick over and over again of like, we're not these people today, we're somebody else. I remember like going out to dinner and it was always someone's birthday or it was always a holiday. So we'd get free food or free something.
Yeah, it was always something like that.
Yeah.
Clever people, clever group. And I'm glad that we connected with you because you were definitely integral to the experience and also creating that visual piece for us. So if we didn't thank you in the past, I thank you again. It was a huge thing.
You thanked me 3 times on the album Penetration. In the liner notes. We're good.
Good.
Josh, thank you for coming on. Is there anything you'd like to pitch or tell people where to go to see things? I'll have some of the Casket stuff up. I'm going to go through it and make sure it's cool.
Oh, but I think I wish we had Lovers of the Sea stuff really that was audio. There is some video of it on YouTube, but it's hard to search Lovers of the Sea because you find a lot of junk. Check out the Sealed Kasket stuff and any streaming thing. And who knows, maybe we'll be back around one of these days and blowing your ear hole out. But this has been a lot of fun and a good chance to talk to you again and bring back some memories. It's been a long time, dude.
Hey, thanks, Josh, for coming on. It was really, really awesome to catch up with him. We haven't talked in a long time. Everybody's life takes separate paths, and, journeys and whatnot. And it's great to kind of talk about that era of my life again with someone who, like, we all kind of shared the same experiences. And we were I wasn't playing music, but we're doing music and we're doing like weird performance art in a sense. And It was great. You could see some of that Cealed Kasket stuff that we talked about on my YouTube channel. It's just search for I'm Matt Elfring, Matt with 1T. There's the audition for Back to the Future on there that we did with Mortal Death. There's a couple examples of some of the like video flyers we did for shows. The music video for Fucking Murdery was up there. Not everything's up there. Some of the stuff got flagged by YouTube. One of my favorite things was the drummer Scott Jackson was having a maid play the song Bakersfield for him, and he was just in a bathtub talking about his terrible childhood. It's a really funny video, but I can't have it up there because it was copyright striked because of Bakersfield being in it. I got another strike because I had a Sarcicus video of him doing a flyer on the toilet, and they flagged it for nudity. There's no nudity. You can see half his butt, but there's no nudity. Anyway, check all that out. Opening music from The Muggles. That's muggles.bandcamp.com. You can buy our vinyl. Tom Wanderer on vocals, Andrew Parks on bass, Will Ash on guitar, and myself, Matt Elfring, on drums. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, review us, all that jazz on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. I can see the music for the show is closing, so I will say thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Support my Substack. Thank you. I love you. Bye.